Hi, I'm going to begin today by saying how pleased and honored I feel to be nominated to be elected to Bishop of your diocese. My name is Karen Egan, and I'm a priest in the Diocese of Montreal. And I've been in Montreal for all of my ministry, though I've lived in many places across Canada. Because only a few people in the diocese know who I am, I'm going to begin by introducing myself and tell you a little bit about how I got into the ministry that I'm in now. I really got serious about going to church, as many people do, when they had young children. I have 4 children. They're all grown now, but when they were little, I thought it was really important to bring them to church. And because of that, I got involved in the Sunday school at the church that we were going to. And it wasn't long before I began to really feel a sense that this community that we were building together was really important and a real gift to all of the young parents who were there. And the more and more I became involved, the more and more I began to feel a sense that God was calling me further into ministry. So when my youngest child was 8 and she was in school, I began to explore ministry more thoroughly, and I entered seminary. So it's been since then, since 1999, that I've been studying and working full-time in ministry. Now, when I was, as I came into that ministry, there are two real themes that I sensed in my vocation. The first one was community, and that love of community grew out of my experience in the church. And I began to realize that God was really calling us into being in community in a particular way. The way Jesus calls us to live together is to be a reconciling community, to be a community that sees each other as equals and equally deserving of God's love and of the resources in the world. And that is, I think, a universal across the church, that people need to feel they belong and to be in community. But the second really important theme in my own ministry has been proclamation. I've worked really hard at becoming a preacher who is interesting, who is sometimes funny, always serious, and always preaching a message of love and reconciliation to the churches that I have been in. And so that call to proclamation led me to study further, and since 2013, I've been teaching at the college in Montreal, a place where we prepare young people for a life of ordained ministry. And I've taught there preaching, and I've taught worship, and I mostly supervise field placements. So I have been involved in the church in many ways, but my real love of raising up young vocations is really has been a part of my ministry since the beginning. I've been on the Bishop's Commission on Ministry, and I've chaired the Bishop's Commission on Ministry for virtually the whole time I've been ordained. And I've been an assessor at ACPO, and I've come to understand, I think, and know what an important job it is to raise up young people for the church, for leadership in the church, and to really respect that God is calling young people right now into the church to relate to the new and emerging context. And that's, I think, something that the whole church is experiencing, a need for a renewal of the ordained ministry, and a need for confidence that God is sending us people who will bless the church and who will be a part of the church's renewal. I know that across the country, churches feel under pressure that they're struggling to remain sustainable, they're struggling to grow in numbers, and I think my experience is, if there was a magic pill about how to solve all those problems, I think someone would have discovered it by now. So I'm confident, though, that sticking to basics like building community and understanding Jesus' way, along with a sense of proclamation and a sense of blessing the community around us with the good news of Jesus Christ, that this is a way forward for the church, and if we remain persuaded by those fundamentals, that God will bless the church and encourage us on the way. Amen.